he seems destined for superstardom, Bam Rodriguez. He's now down at super flyweight. He probably will go to super featherweight one day, but he's on some kind of run. I mean, his last performance against Rungvisai, before that, Carlos Cuadras. He looks to be the next one in those lower weight classes, Barry.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
He is pretty good.
I feel like I'm cheating. I'm on the love of my life. But yeah, he looks pretty special, and he's such a baby. But you tend to think, you know, and he's getting like Gonzalez and Estrada. If he gets those guys, and you tend to think they're on the collision course, he's getting them at the right time. But I think he's so good that he wouldn't be Gonzalez ever. But you know, I mean, he wouldn't be out of his depth at their peaks. I think he's that good. I think he's absolutely brilliant. The fluency in his work, the way he moves around the target, is as good as I've ever seen with anybody. He's absolutely fantastic. Like, I just don't know what he does wrong. Nothing. Brilliant. This super flyweight division is way above every other division, like by a million miles. We see the welterweight division is the best one because you've got more marketability and they're brilliant. But look at these guys. Like, they're just fighting each other for fun. Every week they're fighting each other. That's what it feels like. And now we got a new kid on the block who's maybe just as good as they were in their peak, coming into his prime now at, like, what is he, 14 or whatever he is. He's a baby. No, but that's what. No, he got to know. And if he has the longevity of them, he's going through the weights like Gonzalez did. No, bear in mind,
he jumped up from light flyweight, so he jumped in and he boxed Carlos Cuadras. So again, he's kind of one of those, I think we've been calling them the four princes over the years, Cuadras, Rungvisai, Estrada and Chocolatito. And he jumped in on short notice and he did a good job. I mean, Cuadras had success in the fight, as he would do. He's one of the best fighters around that weight class, but that's probably, I mean, there's a lot to like about Bam Rodriguez, but one of the things that I'm most taken by is his willingness to do things like that, to beat Carlos Cuadras on that kind of notice, and then fight Rungvisai afterwards, arguably the biggest puncher in the division, one of the biggest punchers to ever box a super flyweight, and did a brilliant job on him as well.
He made him look crap, didn't he? He made Rungvisai look like a novice. That's how good he was. Just played with him. He broke his heart, didn't he? Just broke. You could see the man crumble. Emotionally, everything, couldn't you, in the ring? Like, it wasn't a physical beating as such. I mean, just like psychologically and everything, just stripped him apart. Like, I felt in the end, I felt sorry for him. It was like he was a single hyena going in line, like just picking apart the meat, and just left a little shell of a man in the ring. In the end, just unbelievable. Just the kid's special, like absolutely special. Like I've said about Gonzalez, if he was a middleweight, he would be the one to watch. I always say Jaron Ennis is the future of world boxing. If this kid was anywhere from super feather up, we'd be saying he is. He's
got a big frame for it as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go through the weights and at least be kind of featherweight, super featherweight around that point by the time he kind of reaches his late 20s. While me and you were falling on him, I can see Andy Clark waiting to get in over there. Andy, anything that you can say that myself and Barry haven't rambled about for the last 5 minutes or so?
No, not really. I mean, he is that good. I don't think anybody would claim anything to the contrary. It's all real. The chat around him was real. It's proved to be completely justified, and there is still a lot of great work to be done at the weight he's at the minute at super flyweight. You know, we know the names that are floating around there still, and it's great to see those lower weights get the new king, if you like, because there's been a lot of attention around them over the last almost 10 years due to Chocolatito and Estrada and Cuadras and Rungvisai and others who played their parts during that time. And it's great that that's not fading, because they are so skillful and really, really good to watch. Just so good to watch. And there are parallels with what he's doing and what Inoue did, because he went from light flyweight to super flyweight quickly. And what you've got to wonder...
You mentioned the best fight on the...
Yeah, that's it. That's it. When's that going to happen?
I think,
you know, what's the time scale on that, do you think?
I think it's because I think Inoue is going to go up to super bantamweight soon. I mean, you mentioned Chocolatito there. They're both taken fighters. Mr. Honda has already said that. I think Bam Rodriguez has said, look, Chocolatito is my idol. I would love to fight him, but I think the respect and the fact that they are both with taken, I don't see that happening. The Estrada fight, I think, will happen. I think that's definitely a possibility.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, we'll see what happens between those two in the trilogy in December. But I think that fight will happen. But as far as Inoue, I think obviously he's going to be going up to super bantamweight.
He's got to catch him up weight-wise.
You would think so, and you'd think that that's a fight to really build down the line. But again, as always in boxing, it comes down to the politics. But I think now less so than, sorry, I know you're trying to get in, less so than in recent years. You mentioned there about them fighting each other all the time because, look, if you want to be paid big money in those weight classes, you can't be fighting these voluntaries who nobody's heard of. You have to fight the top guys in the weight class. So while those fights are there for him to have, he's already beaten 2 of the 4 princes. If he beats Estrada, then moves up. You've got Nakatani, who I believe is moving up from flyweight now. Sonny Edwards at flyweight. He's been talking about wanting to fight Bam Rodriguez either at flyweight or up at superfly. He's, of course, boxed there in the past as well. Sonny Edwards really wants that fight. But as you said, it's really nice to have that blend underneath. I think Inoue is probably a little bit further down the line at the minute.
But he's going to catch him up weight-wise.
You would think so. You would think so. And Inoue will run out of opponents, you would think, unless he keeps going up through the weight classes.
And also, stylistically, it's a nightmare for Inoue. Brilliant, and he hits so hard with every shot. But when you got a guy who literally can be here and then spin. I'm not going to say the word.
Go on.
No, but he can turn on a sixpence, be right behind you, and throws again. That's what he does.
That Cuadras knockdown, where he just pivots off the angle and then catches him with that lead right uppercut. Beautiful.
But he does it so fluently. Like it's just he's what happens with, especially with like the guys. Like I understand this because I couldn't punch to save my life, but it's because a lot of the time it's because you're so fast. You think you're so fast. You're already moving away, ready to throw the other punch. You almost don't hold your feet enough. When you're a bit bigger and slower, you tend to want to get more purge on your punches. But like he's thinking the next move. No one thinks 3 and 4 moves ahead. People say that full of shit. He's thinking the next move ahead, but he still holds his feet to make sure he gets the right weight on the shot, and then still has the movement and the fast twitch fibers to get that quickness on the next move. So he doesn't go. Sometimes you might think, right, I'm going to throw 1-2, I'm going to pivot and go again with the right hand. So the 1-2 will be rushed, and sometimes you get caught on the move because he doesn't have the effect to stop the opponent in his tracks. So you go too fast, and then he throws back. But if you go bam bam, he can't throw back and he wants to defend. Then you move. But if you do it too slow, that movement, he can absorb the shot and move away. But he gets it perfect. And it's a science to get that right. You know, that's a natural ability, but it's also you got to really hone your skill on that. So he gets that movement so fast, but gets the purchase on the shots first of all to stop you, and slow you down to get that speed to make him look even faster.
I always think with that too, you like kind of mentally, you've got to have that real confidence in yourself and that bravery that you're not going to rush it. That you've got that ability just to set, throw, move, like you say, and you're not because fighters get skittish, don't they? They kind of it's exactly how you just described it, but there's a hell of a lot of confidence involved in fighting like that.
And when you have natural speed, again, it's lucky because I talk about with things that I had, like when I'm talking about power. But you rush everything because you're fast. My trainers say you're fast. You don't try and be fast. You're fast. You're naturally fast. Stop trying to be fast. And then I go, what's he on about? I'm fast. I'll be faster. But you don't. You rush it. It's too quick. You got loads of time. When you're fast, you got loads of slow down. It's like when you got power. No, you got power. Don't tense up like a lunatic. The guy Golovkin doesn't. You got natural power and technique. So he's loose. He wants to be loose. So when you got speed, don't need to go too fast because you feint. I used to do loads of these feints, and when I look back, I go, they're just like twitches. Do you know what I mean? I'm going so fast that it's not working because you don't see it. You got to sometimes slow yourself down a bit, or just real speed, because you are fast, you'll faint, and you'll.
The reality is, you just need to be faster than the person you're facing.
But when you're young, when you're 20, 19, like at 18 turned pro, and then all at 21, 22, you're young. Exuberance of youth makes you rush everything, because you want to show people everything what you got too quickly, and you see it in debuts so many times. Young amateurs are so good, they want to show you everything what they can do, and they end up rushing their work and looking scrappy at times. But he's a young man who has that exuberance of youth and the energy, but he got an old brain. and he slows, and so everything's done at the right time, at the right speed.
Yeah.
So it's really fast.
Yeah. He takes the time that he can take.
Yeah, I've literally made a 1-2 a pivot sound like some sort of like scientific recipe.
You've become the very thing you swore to defeat.
Yeah, no, but
Barry Jones.
But, but he is. You know, he don't know that data.
There we go.
And he's 55 moves ahead.
We're going to move on from that. Andy, before we move on, speak a little bit about one of the other fights on the card. Who next for Bam Rodriguez? I mean, he's boxing this man here, Israel Gonzalez. We've seen him box Cal Yafai a few years ago. Let's say he gets past him as we expect him to do. Robert Garcia has spoken about him moving down to flyweight. I think Nakatani's going to move up, which will leave obviously a vacant belt. You've got Sonny Edwards there. Do you want to see him at Superfly? Who next for Bam Rodriguez?
I mean, Martinez is the one who instantly springs to mind. Julio Martinez. Does he really want to fight Rodriguez? That's what I wonder.
I want to see him fight Sonny Edwards, Martinez. I like that style blend, and I like the obviously the story with Charlie.
That's. I think I picked that out at the start of the year when we sat down. It's a fight that I really, really wanted to see because there's a great backstory to it as well. Personally, I would quite like to see him fight at flyweight rather than miss it out because I think he can win a world title at flyweight. I mean, we'd all be very confident that he could. I think Sonny would probably fight him.
Yeah,
I don't think it's hot air. I genuinely think that he would fight anybody because he's that confident in his own ability that he would be. Of course, he would think that he can win. Everybody always thinks they're going to win, but I think with somebody like Edwards, he'll know that if you fight at the top level for your next 10 fights or 15 fights, which is what he'll want to do, you're going to lose at some point. You know, he probably would say it on the record, but you will. But I think he would always be confident that such is his skill set, that although he might lose a fight, no one's going to really hurt him. I think that's what he feels.
And he has got that style
and that's
as well,
why he wouldn't have any fear in fighting anybody, and I believe that he doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he does have that type of style, Sonny, that, you know, there's not too many fighters who box like him, certainly around those weight classes. And if he gets it right and he boxes in his idea a perfect fight, he's going to be difficult to beat. But anyway, Barry, over to you. Let's take the Chocolatito fight out because I don't think that will happen, much to your delight.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see next for Bam?
I can't go. I know it's not going to happen. That Inoue fight is one that I want to see now. No, you half mentioned. That's the one. Go home. I would like to see it. Like I think Estrada is a really good fight. I think Estrada loses against Gonzalez.
I thought he lost the second fight.
So did I.
Yeah.
That's why I think he loses again. But again, these guys can't keep going to the well forever. They have actually. They've gone to the well forever already.
Longevity's amazing.
It's just especially because
that weight.
Exactly.
And the way
they're going to burn out, and the level of opposition that they've boxed as well.
And the way they fight, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Gonzalez is like, he doesn't load up, so it seems like effortless. But these are hard fights. He's always doing all the rounds and he's throwing millions of punches.
Remember a few years ago he was finished. Remember he lost the fights with Srisaket. He got knocked out and he was done.
Knocked out, didn't he?
Really badly knocked out. The first fight was a brilliant fight.
That was a close fight.
That was really close.
That was on the same card as Golovkin Jacobs, which was another very close fight. That was a really nice little double act they used to have on HBO. They had Gennady Golovkin and Chocolatito, that kind of K2 Superfly era. That was really, really good.
Thanks to Golovkin, I got to commentate on a Gonzalez fight live in Vegas.
Oh yeah, that was good. I remember.
Which is like a bucket list for me. Yeah, I would like to see the Martinez fight. I think stylistically, I can't see how Martinez wins, but because he's a huge puncher, that if he can get Rodriguez on turn and because he swings those shots, doesn't he, Martinez? If he can get him on a turn with a swinging shot over the top and hurt him, then we get to see how he copes under that sort of pressure. The young kid, would he unravel?
I just think he's too open for Bam Rodriguez. I think Bam Rodriguez he'd find the target. It's similar to Chocolatito. I mean, different types of fighters, of course, but Chocolatito hit him with how he managed to survive 12 rounds in that fight, by the way, Martinez. After 6 rounds, he was going, I'm tired, my arms. He was flagging in the corner. And Reynoso was going, you're not going to quit. You're going to get out there. Thinking like, yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers, Eddie. You get in there. I would really like to see him fight probably 5 or 6 different fighters. But the Edwards fight interests me. I'd really like to see the Nakatani fight. Long levers, good fighter Nakatani. I like that fight.